I try to be objective with all of my sports coverage, and listen, Jacy Sheldon objectively should be suspended for this play. I just don't know in what world, in what universe you watch that play back and you go, that was a basketball play. She was trying to make a basketball move, especially with all the angles of this.
The reaction across the WNBA world is loud and clear. Fans are frustrated, and the tension is rising. The latest controversy? A hard foul by Jacy Sheldon on Caitlin Clark, one of the league's biggest stars and fan favorites. What many saw as an overly aggressive play has now fueled a wave of backlash online. Fans are calling for accountability, with growing demands for disciplinary action to send a strong message. Do you think the league should take action? Drop a comment below with "Suspend Sheldon" if you believe consequences are necessary. Let's talk about it.
Sheldon was clearly targeting Caitlin Clark most of this game, and that is, that comes from a function of, she guarded her in one-on-one situations a lot up the court, and then rolled into a lot of doubles in the half court, but there was talking and chirping all game, and for me it was punctuated by Caitlin Clark's final play before she came out of the game, where she stares Jacy Sheldon down essentially demonstrates, she's like, if you poke me in my eye, I will shoot it in yours. And she crosses her, finds the favorite spot, free throw line extended from the logo area, big U3 to Jacy Sheldon, yells at the Connecticut bench, yells at the crowd.
From Twitter to TikTok, the outcry is spreading fast. Social media is flooded with calls for accountability, and hashtags like #HoldSheldonAccountable are gaining traction across sports communities. Fans aren't just asking for a technical. They're calling for meaningful consequences. Many believe a suspension is necessary to set the standard and ensure player safety across the league. If officiating falls short in protecting stars like Caitlin Clark, then it's up to the league office to take decisive action.
Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about that.
The moment that reignited this firestorm came during what was expected to be a routine matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun. Instead, it turned into yet another troubling chapter in the growing concerns about how Caitlin Clark is being defended on the court. This time, the play was so blatantly aggressive that even casual viewers took notice, sparking renewed outrage and intense debate across the basketball world. Next,
Jacy Sheldon. There is a legitimate hatred there. If you guys have heard, this Ohio State team, this 2023 Ohio State team, hated that Iowa team. And this is Jacy Sheldon, who was Caitlin Clark's direct matchup in these games. Like I tweeted out, forget Angel, forget Dejanay. This is Caitlin Clark's one true rival.
Jacy Sheldon didn't just reach in on defense. She made contact with Caitlin Clark's eye in a way that left fans stunned. The moment felt anything but accidental, and the expression that followed only added fuel to the fire. This didn't look like a simple defensive hustle or misstep in the heat of the game. To many watching, it came across as intentional and unnecessary, especially given that it involved the league's biggest star, the very player many believe is driving the WNBA's current momentum. Next.
Funny thing about that whole Caitlin and Jacy situation last night is it's like on a if you know thing. These two have been running a friendly fade on the court for like the last 4 years. They played in college, had great battles, so I'm not surprised last night happened.
And it didn't stop there. As Clark stumbled from the eye contact, Sheldon appeared to continue the physicality, grabbing her arm in a way that many fans saw as excessive and unnecessary. It was a move with no clear basketball purpose, raising even more questions about intent. Then, just when things seemed like they couldn't escalate further, Marina Mabrey entered the frame, delivering a forceful shove from behind that sent Clark to the floor. And the officials? Silent, unresponsive. Viewers were left asking, How was this allowed to happen?
You know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Fans responded with the frustration of a community that's felt unheard for too long. Within hours, Jacy Sheldon's social media was flooded with criticism, and the internet was ablaze with calls for accountability, including suspensions, fines, and reviews. Reactions ranged from anger to disappointment, but there was one shared sentiment: action was needed. Many weren't framing Sheldon as a tough competitor. They were questioning the intent behind her actions, especially when they involved one of the league's brightest stars.
Get it from behind or from the side. It's so obvious that she straight up leapt out towards Caitlyn and got her right in the eye. And the more I try and watch it back and you try to be objective, there is no world where this was a basketball play. And yes, she was playing tough defense on Caitlyn up until that point, but she leapt forward. And it's not like it's defensible where you can say she tried to get the ball, because her hand at that point was so far away from where the ball was. It's not like Caitlyn was dribbling the ball up near her face. How she was not ejected for this, I don't know. The broadcast was talking about it, and that's why Sophie Cunningham even had the opportunity to hard foul her at the end. I don't know what you do, but the league's got to do something.
Even mainstream media couldn't stay silent. Late-night hosts and sports analysts weighed in, with Jimmy Fallon taking a rare serious moment to deliver a clear message on national TV. Protect Caitlyn Clark at all costs. Enough is enough. Meanwhile, Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy didn't hold back, strongly criticizing the Connecticut players and questioning whether their actions belonged on a professional court. When commentary gets that heated from across the spectrum, it's a clear sign the public sees something seriously wrong. And they did. Next voice, next voice. To understand why this moment struck such a nerve, you have to understand what Caitlyn Clark represents to the WNBA. She's not just a rising star. She's the driving force behind the league's current surge in visibility and revenue. According to Dr. Ryan Brewer, a finance expert at Indiana University Columbus, Clark was responsible for a staggering 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity during her rookie season. That's more than a quarter of the league's total, generated by a player earning just $76,535. Even more jaw-dropping, Brewer projects that Clark could generate nearly $1 billion in economic value for the WNBA in 2025 alone. That's not hype, that's data. With numbers like that, Clark may be the most impactful player in the history of women's basketball. So the fact that she's being left vulnerable to repeated physical play without consistent protection isn't just concerning. It raises serious questions about priorities, player safety, and long-term league strategy.
Next, stop the fighting. He thought they meant the WNBA. What is going on? Protect Caitlyn Clark at all costs, please. Enough of this. Please.
When a player has that much influence on league visibility, ticket sales, TV ratings, and sponsor engagement, allowing her to endure repeated physical play without serious consequences isn't just concerning. It's a major oversight. In most professional leagues, an incident like this would result in immediate ejections, fines, suspensions, and official statements by the next morning. Yet here we are, watching Caitlyn Clark, the face of the WNBA, absorb hard fouls while referees appear indifferent and league responses feel muted. In the case of Jacy Sheldon, fans were stunned when the league issued only a flagrant one foul, a penalty many saw as too lenient given the nature of the incident. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham, one of the few players who visibly stood up for Clark, received a flagrant 2 and an additional fine. To fans, the message feels backwards. Take a hard shot at a star player and receive minimal discipline. Stand up in her defense and get punished even more. It's raised serious concerns about consistency, player safety, and the message being sent by the league.
Teammate, and that's her who gonna do something about it. Like, yo, yesterday, that's malice in the palace activity. Call for it. That y'all should have been throwing hands all over the place. How do you get poked in the eye, then get thrown to the ground, and then you receive a technical foul? And don't none of your teammates want to step up, fight, squabble, none of that. They just looking like, yo, it's been, we know that y'all been targeting Caitlin Clark now. Now I'm even watching, I'm like, hold on, what? Like, how are y'all letting this happen? How are y'all not protecting this girl? Now, she clearly is a superstar, right? But there's plenty superstars in the WNBA, and don't none of them get treated the way Caitlin Clark get treated. No, y'all gonna mess up and ruin the whole numbers, your ratings, your spawn, all that, if y'all don't have Caitlin Clark in y'all's league. So y'all better start acting right. I'm telling you.
This has been a very contentious 12 hours since the game. A lot of people on ESPN saying ridiculous things, like Monica McNutt saying she had no problem with Marina Mabry's foul. And I look at that in comparison to the Sophie Cunningham foul, which I have seen people say has no place in the league, unsportsmanlike, when that actually is a lot more sportsmanlike than the Marina Mabry one. Marina Mabry was completely disconnected from the play, had nothing to do with it. There was no play even going on when Marina Mabry.
You having Caitlin Clark is a once in a generation talent. She was massively successful in college, and that's transcended into the WNBA, where she's leaps and bounds above pretty much most every player there. You're allowing her to get beaten up on the regular during games, flagrant fouls, people trying to take her eye out. That's happened a couple different times last year and this year.
One could argue she is an A-level star, and they don't even have B and C level stars. From A, it drops to D. She is the entire league, and they allow things like this to happen last night against the Connecticut Sun.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
Ooh, and Marina Mabry, I missed that one, Edona.
Oh, I missed that one too.
Like, it wasn't just a hard foul accident. Like, there's nothing Caitlin Clark has done in response at this point. So what's the point in bowing up into her face? And immediately, I don't think Caitlin's even extended her arm to push her away. Maybe the coaching is, hey, if you're physical with Caitlin Clark, it's one of the only ways to stop her. Yes. So, like, they're all encouraged to be really physically aggressive, but it's hard not to look at this and think there's animus towards her. You got to protect Caitlin Clark. She is the